Alright, so this new video, new because I already had vlogs in the past, but anyway, this new type of video is going to be more about filmmaking, cinema, tips, different things, equipment review, and to start, I'm going to start with not reviewing the X-T30. So the first things to know is that the X-T30 is not my personal camera. I haven't shot with it. It's my friend's camera. So I'm actually just gonna let him talk a little bit, talk about his experience as a filmmaker, cinematographer, why he's gonna get into filmmaking. So just sit back, enjoy, just grab some popcorn, just grab anything you want so you can just enjoy and just relax. One of the reasons why this is not a One of the reasons why this is not a review about the Fuji X-T30 is because my friend, Sawyer Gaunt, just got his camera about 2 weeks ago, so we didn't really shoot with it yet. We went on one day where we just walked around Williamsburg, went to Domino Park, and I shot some B-roll. He shot some photos of my girlfriend. If you're not a filmmaker, film enthusiast, if you don't care about filmmaking, well, this is maybe not going to be the channel for you. But anyways, I would suggest for you to stay on and still watch because it might be fun. You might learn new stuff. We don't know. If you are a filmmaker, if we say stuff on this channel that you don't like, you can go down in the comments, or I have one good solution for you. You can put all your anger on that smash button, the like button, just like smash it, and once you do that, you're gonna be way more relaxed, and you're gonna be calmed down, and you're gonna be able to enjoy the rest of the video. And if that's still not enough, you can always just go ham and subscribe. And once you do that, once you just put all your energy into subscribing, you will be relieved of all your pains and anger.
Hi YouTube. Hey YouTube, it's Brill here. Oh.
Yeah, why not?
Oh my God, that's too much pressure.
How's life treating you since you moved to New York?
Life has been good. This is I was just counting the months. This is month 6. Yeah, so this has been 6 months in the city. Yeah, I say I got lucky. I definitely did in some regards. But it was interesting. I dropped out of school. So I dropped out of school and I said I'm gonna move right to New York. And then about a few months later, I was like, oh no, like I'm broke. Right, like the month before I moved into New York, I worked on a feature film in Connecticut, and those people were all based out of New York, and it just happened to be that the DP on that film was like the greatest guy, and he works in New York and does a ton of work, and so like as soon as I moved in, he was like, okay, I'm gonna find you work. That was just like really lucky, because he does a lot of work for Verizon Media, right, and like Yahoo stuff, so that's all the stuff that I do for them was through him. So that was like lucky. Right. And then, yeah, everything else has just been like, well, yeah, so we'll bring it full circle back to how was the first month, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I have the need or the want to start working, especially like...
Yeah, right. Well, as anybody does.
Like, when I was 12 or 14, I was like, I don't want to work. I hate school. I don't want to work. Like, fuck that shit, right? But now that I'm older and I love filmmaking, if I can find something where I'm just filming, great.
That's a great job, yeah.
That's great, yeah. That's one thing. I can't stop doing it because I love filming, I love that kind of stuff, and if I get paid on top of that, great. But anyways.
The first month sucks. It does. Like when I first moved here, like the first day I got here.
Well, you moved here by yourself.
I moved here by myself. I do have roommates, but they weren't there. Later. They weren't there.
So you're by yourself?
Just by myself, and I was like, I have to find work. So every day I would just like go on my computer and be like, what can I find? And it got scary because if you do freelance, like you only get paid when you do those gigs. You might not get those gigs, right, so to speak. So what I did is I was like, I was getting all frustrated, and I was like, I'm just gonna apply to like Adorama.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna get a job at Adorama, and it was great. They got back to me, and they were like, oh yeah, we'd love to bring you in as like a lighting specialist, which just means you sell light. And that's great. I loved it, and I was like, this is great. And I went in for the interview, and they were like, yeah, you're great. And the whole process took like a week, and then, but in that time that I was getting interviewed, I got like my first opportunity for like a freelance job. And it was just like a grip, right? But it was on this food show. I did the whole interview for Adorama, and then I had worked like 3 days. And up to that point, I had already worked a freelance job, and I got really excited about that because that was like my very first one. And the DP on that was like, hey, what are you doing next week? Can you work Monday, Tuesday on a freelance gig? And in my head, I was like, shit, like I have Adorama. But so the next day I went to Adorama and I said, hey, I'm working 4 days a week here. Can I do 2 days a week? So that I could do freelance as well. And they were like, oh, that's great. But like, you have to decide either 4 days or no days. And so I quit Adorama on the 3rd day of working there.
3 days later.
3 days later. But it was the best decision that I made.
Yeah, I mean, it goes both ways.
Right.
Either the best would have worked, and for you it was the best.
Right. You could, yeah, it could have. That could have been my last freelance job, and then I would have been struggling again. Fortunately, it was not. But I lucked out because that job was that crazy job that I was on, that I'm still under an NDA and maybe I can't talk about.
That'd be funny if
I'm
we
trying
just cut out. All right, let's do that. All right.
There's one thing that I can say from the job. The coolest part. I saw Ben Stiller. That was the coolest part. Well, I mean, like, it wasn't cold, but like I was wet.
Raining. Okay.
And
got it.
Ben Stiller was standing there, and I was just staring at him because like there were other, like I told you about, there were like other big, like Jay Farrow was there and like Keane Thompson was there. But that was like, I was just working and I was busy, and they were like I wasn't like starstruck, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like, you've seen like Night at the Museum.
Yes.
Yeah. And like Dodgeball.
Yeah.
So like, he's a childhood hero. So like he showed up and I was like, and I think I must have been staring at him for too long because he was leaving and he kind of like came up to me and was like, hey kids, stay dry. But in my head I was like, ah. I didn't know what to do.
So you're a DP. So why, or have you always taken photos as well?
I started by taking photos.
Because I started by taking photos too.
Yeah.
My friends love skating. I was afraid of breaking my bones in skate, so I took a camera and started taking photos. That's how I started.
Well, I was in high school and I bought the Canon T30i. That was like everyone's first.
Yep.
Well, actually, I think I bought that camera because a friend, Mark Ramos, was like my inspiration in high school because he was 2 years older than me. He used to do videos.
I didn't know that.
He used to do videos in high school. I was like, those are so cool. And I'd be like, yo, what camera do you have? And he was like, this one, T3i. And I was like, shit, I gotta get my hands on one of those. Those look amazing. But like at the time, they were like $600.
Yeah, now like what, $100?
Yeah, whatever. But at the time, that was like the indie high school filmmaker camera. So I bought one of those, but they took good photos too. So I got really into photography with that. And then, as the years go by, I get really focused into cinematography. So, like, you've got the Blackmagic, right? I have the A7S II, which is, I love for many reasons, but it takes the worst photos.
So, how have you been liking this little camera, little boy?
Little boy.
Little camera boy?
Yeah, I wanted to get back into photos. And I was gonna get, like, the 5D. Like, last minute, I was like, well, I don't know. And I couldn't decide what I wanted to get, and I had always liked.
Well, I mean, especially now with like 5Ds is great, but it's not mirrorless. Now all the cameras getting smaller and smaller.
Mm-hmm. Put it in the comments if you're rich and you have the new GFX medium format.
The GFX 100. Jesus, that camera. We went to NAB, just a little side note. We were able to hold a GFX 100.
And also the RELF.
And the LF.
And the mini LF.
And then
he did the Trinity. He did the Trinity.
Photos popping up right here, and here, and here, and here. You got the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were expecting the camera in a week,
and
you got it like a couple days earlier.
Yeah.
And then you were like, you came over here, and then right outside was the food court and the store and like the whole street.
Yeah, it was great.
Really cool. And got some B-roll.
So we did a little shooting test.
Little shooting test. I saw you struggle a couple of times. I have footage.
I struggled all day.
Here and here.
So I mean, it's interesting. I come from Canon cameras, especially for photo, and Sony. So this body is brand new.
Right.
Like I'm.
Well, you showed me a couple of features that I think should be standard on every. Like the shutter speed should always be the dial.
I love that.
That's very cool.
The body is designed after like an old school film camera.
All right, so we have the Fuji right here, the Canon, pretty good standard, and this is just a 35mm camera lens. So if you put them side by side, they are actually mine's dusty, but they are very, very similar.
Yeah, this is
like
even
the
compact.
look, the look.
Yeah, that's what they went exactly for the film
That's
body
actually,
look, because this is so different.
I mean,
yeah,
it's crazy.
So it's super slim and compact this way, and that, I mean, granted, that part of that is the mirrorless factor. But yeah, one of my favorite things is the exposure compensation dial here, and the shutter speed dial, and your like shooting modes are all like classic rotation dial, which is pretty dope. And this function is fabulous.
And so far with the images that you've got and you looked at, were you impressed by the quality? Were you impressed by the?
I was. So the first day that you and I went out to the food fest, I really didn't get many good photos because I was still learning how to use the camera, and every time I wanted to take it out and adjust a setting, I wouldn't know what dial to adjust. So I had to go through and program the dials for different things. And it's interesting, most Fuji lenses have an aperture, like a manual aperture button. This one doesn't. So sometimes you'll like zoom and like all of a sudden the aperture will like roll to a crazy number, and you'll be like, "Oh, what's happening?" But so that's hard to work with. That's just one of the thousands of reasons why I don't like this little kit lens. Then we went shooting yesterday. I shot a lot of different photos at different times of the day. And I've been really impressed with what came out of that. Because yesterday, finally, I've been used to like the camera feel in my hands, the buttons.
Yeah, there's also no grip, which is, I feel like I'm used to that.
Like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's close. It's a lot closer to the like.
I'm actually
film
still
bodies.
amazed by how it feels like they just copied it, made it smaller.
Right.
And just did.
If it didn't have a screen on the back, I would think it was film.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. If you don't want to bother with film.
By the Fuji, like, you have truly, the look, it is.
And then
you get the look. You get the look outside of the camera, and you get the look inside the camera. Like, why is anybody shooting film anymore? Well, you can't just survive unless you come from like crazy money, and you can just sit around in a really nice apartment and make art. Then like, I don't know. It's a battle, and that's. I mean, I've been fighting with that ever since I've got here. It's like, you don't. And I don't think any form of art is selling out. In all of these forms, it's what you make of it, right? You can be a commercial director and sell out. Like, I know plenty of people, I've worked with
But I don't
people,
think it's selling out.
It's not, I say sell out by like, I'm gonna do a bunch of corporate headshots, and that's like my thing. Like, there's no creativity involved, and they just fall off the cliff of like, they just lose sight of the creative jobs, and they run after the ones that give them the most money. That's selling out to me. You could be a full-time commercial director, I think, and you could be so creative. And that's not selling at all. You could just love making commercials.
Alright, I hope that you found this casual interview conversation with my friend Sawyer interesting, and maybe it somehow motivated you to just go outside and shoot some photos. So this channel is going to be more about stuff like that, just casual things, just talking about cinema, filmmaking, probably some BTS. So this channel is going to be mainly based on film cinematography stuff. So if that sounds like a good idea, please subscribe, and I'll see you, hopefully, in the next video.